As we know, Oculus Rift was acquired by Facebook for $2 billion. But what does that mean for people who were developing on the Oculus Rift or people who wanted to buy the Oculus Rift? It was touted as being a totally hackable developer's dream almost. And now it seems like one of the biggest companies on the internet, one of the most hated companies on the internet, has taken it over. Is that necessarily a bad thing, though?
I love how it's like the biggest but hated.
People, okay, let's be real. Let's be real. People don't like Facebook's their attitude of sharing everyone's privacy, sharing everyone's data, sticking ads on things. People don't like it.
I agree. You know, I think my first point here is that I was that person. I was one of the first people to post this, and I was like, uh-oh, I am not a fan, because everyone just automatically assumes Facebook's taking over, this is going to turn this product into crap. But, you know, once I read this guy's feedback, one of the co-creators, and I started really looking at it from perspective of a business person who actually created something amazing, we don't really give them the credit. We give them the credit for creating something brilliant, but we don't give them the credit for actually having a brilliant contract put in place with an empire like Facebook. And so if they have something that's so incredible, there's a pretty good chance that they were able to retain a lot of that control with Facebook. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but it sounds like from reading his comments that that's the case, that they're not truly letting them take over what they built. They're just kind of using that money to be able to fund new technology.
Well, as we've learned from the Instagram acquisition, Facebook didn't ruin it. Instagram yet. But what people are fearing right now, let's just dump that out there. First of all, a lot of the Kickstarter backers are mad. They've requested their money back. They're saying they weren't giving out their hard-earned money for seed money for Facebook acquisition. Go ahead.
I think they deserve their money back. I think that's the root of this problem. Like typically, if you have a startup and you get bought, it's a great day because now you have all this money, and yes, maybe you lost a little bit of control, but now this means good things for your company. In this instance, this product was really, really crowdfunded.
Yes, it was one of the biggest successes.
So you have thousands of people putting their money where their mouth is and saying, yes, we want this product to happen because we know you, we trust you, you've given us, you know, outlines of what you're going to do, and we're on board. Now all of a sudden, having received nothing yet, their company that they supported is bought by a conglomerate, by a giant corporation that, for all intents and purposes, they hate.
I do think they did receive things because one of the first dev kits was sent out to the people who had applied, given money to that level, actually.
Okay, so the vast majority of people don't have an Oculus Rift
But what they're saying is, this is not what I invested in. This is not what I gave you my money for. I wanted this VR, AR dream to be just completely indie, completely available to everyone, and now you've sold out to this big conglomerate. That's what people are mad about.
But I don't think it's actually set in stone that, I mean, if you look at some of the comments here, he does say that it's continuing to be an open platform for developers. And I think this news is so new that we don't quite know if that's going to happen.
They haven't released all the details yet, and they're saying wait for it. But
I agree that all the outrage is based on speculation, but perception is reality. Already Notch has pulled support.
Do you think Notch was being unfair in that, though? Because I had also read that the Minecraft for Oculus Rift wasn't that far along in development. It was at a stage where it could easily be pulled.
I mean, he seems like he feels like most people feel. Is like, you had promised me this great open source revolutionary technology, and now I'm worried that the corporate powers that be are going to put their fingers in it, and I won't be able to do what you promised, so forget about it, I'm out.
Well, Notch is really sorry.
No, this is such a great conversation.
He's a really powerful voice in the indie community, and like his product, what it stands for is creativity and being unbridled and free to make whatever you want. And people are worried that, one, that there will be ads in their games, that they won't be able to access Steam anymore, but maybe that's not necessarily the case.
It is really interesting, though, because if you look at the business model of something like Facebook and the business model of Oculus, they're completely different. And I think that is why people are concerned, because it's not a company that is supporting new technology and openness in a way. It's a company, like you said, we're super concerned about their sneaky little ways of giving away our privacy. And I think that that's kind of, if I were a developer, I would be scared as shit as well to think, well, am I going to develop something for this and then have Facebook sort of steal it it and own it, because they already do that with people's social content.
There's nothing on the books that says the Oculus Rift will have ads, will farm data, will use that data for any sinister means, but now that bug is in everyone's ear. No one dreamed that could be the case, so no one was afraid of it before. And now,
Facebook, you're sinister. Really, that's what it comes down to.
Palmer Luckey, I think, is the man that had answered the Reddit AMA. He said that the ads will be based on the specific game developers' desires. If they want ads in their game, there will be ads, but they won't be put there automatically by Facebook. That sounds good. And apparently, they're still going to be able to operate in their own independent capabilities, or capacity, rather. So that sounds good.
Ads would be weird, unless it's a mobile game online, and even in that case, what games have ads? That's just a bizarre concept. That's more like a content model. So the fact that they're even offering that to developers is a pretty interesting choice.
Well, they're hoping that with that $2 billion that they got for the acquisition, that one, they'll be able to hire some of the top talent in the industry.
which they already have.
Yes. Two, that they will be able to build their own hardware, not tethered to any mobile technology, their own hardware. And that all sounds good.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there are good things that will come of this. Like, obviously, any kind of influx of money, especially to the tune of $2 billion, is going to be good for the hardware. Like, that goes without saying. So yes, good things will come out of this. And speaking of hiring talent, Michael Abrash from Valve and formerly id Software was just hired by Oculus/Facebook today.
Oh, are we going to say that now?
We're already starting it.
I mean, I don't know specifically who hired him, but he's working for Oculus now.
Okay, so maybe that's a good sign that your games will still be available on Steam, or maybe a bad sign. I don't know.
Maybe it's very foreboding that the once very friendly relationship between Valve and Oculus has parted ways, and now we're divvying up employees as to who wants to work where.
Well, today on that news,
this makes me so sad.
True Player Gear announced themselves. It's a different VR headset, and there's not that much info on it yet because it's still in development. But one of the things they made a point of saying was it has an expansion port and it's yours to hack. So I don't know if this would be the haven for people.
Exactly. I mean, it's really interesting because there are so many people out there, like you said, that gave their money as seed money, and now that they want it back, or they might actually, out of hatred or out of spite, actually go fund other developments just to make it competition for this.
Some people, myself included, are worried that there will be no safe haven for VR now. I mean, one of the great things about the community was that even though there were multiple companies working on the technology, it was not really competition. They were working together and like sharing, like trying to establish standards, both software and hardware, for like the future, making it easy for developers to develop across multiple VR platforms. Now that a big corporation like Facebook has one in its pocket, who knows what kind of legal action they'll take to prevent startups, to prevent competition.
We'll see though. And we also have to remember that Sony has Project Morpheus. So I don't know if necessarily this is changing the world of VR from an open, wide range to maybe more segmented and less friendly in terms of innovation. What do you think of the acquisition? Probably bad, I would measure, but maybe it's not as bad as we all think. Let us know what you think below in the comments, and please be sure to subscribe.